All protocol observed. I like that phrase. Not sure who came up with it. There you go. I always learn something from Dr. Davis, you see. In fact, I'll start there. What was quite interesting, as Dr. Davis noted, is that this debate is in no way new. The issue of the issue of the exchange rate debate has been going on for a long time. And firstly, I want to commend Damien on giving a very logical and clear expression of the issues. Like Dr. Davis, I am puzzled as to why he didn't address the issue of dollarization, if you like, the corner solution. That's what the economists call it, which means that the example of Barbados of a fixed exchange rate was a step on the road, if you like, to the corner solution of fixed exchange rates, if you like, a irredeemably fixed exchange rate, whereas obviously he described the floating exchange rate fully, so I won't go into that issue. So that would be my first question, and it's not just an academic question, because in our region you have Panama, El Salvador, which actually dollarized a few years back as a solution to their problem, to their low growth problem, and also, most interestingly perhaps, is Ecuador, which has somehow managed, which you might say that's a stress test for the issue of dollarization, because I think they've just defaulted on their debt not long ago. So if they have seemed to have managed to, I believe anyway, well, they've actually defaulted 3 times, I think, on their debt. But in fact, this is probably the 4th now that I think about it. But anyway, the point is they seem to have managed to keep that regime in place, to my surprise, frankly, under what I would regard as extreme conditions. So, I mean, that's not to say they won't get rid of it tomorrow. And there are, certainly there are forces in Ecuador which saying that they would do that. But that's an interesting stress test. So as we're into stress tests these days, I just thought that maybe that's maybe what Damien was saying is, well, I don't have time to do all this research. So if you fund an even bigger project, then I'll look at all these other examples in the region. And of course, it's not just in our region. Of course, there's a fixed exchange rate has been adopted in Europe, of course, under somewhat different conditions, and you have to bear those in mind. And of course, what's most interesting from our perspective as a developing country is that a number of smaller Central European countries and Eastern European countries have also adopted the euro. So, I mean, again, there are some differences in that, and I won't go into that right now. But it is interesting that you're having this go on, and of course, you might say in some of those countries, you also have an example of what I would regard as an interesting stress test going on right now with respect to the problem, because a lot of those countries had large inflows. These are the Eastern European countries, had large inflows of capital, and from probably partly because of the fact that they had adopted the euro, although it wasn't exclusive to countries that had adopted the euro. And so you've got an example of countries that are now having to live with, you might say, the downside of fixed or even irredeemably fixed, as I coined a new phrase, exchange, supposedly anyway, exchange rates in the form of the euro adoption. Now, moving specifically back to the issue of Jamaica, there has, I just want to go into a quick look at some of the private sector's views, because I guess I'm here representing the private sector. In that there have been a number of points where there was a call for the adoption of a currency board or dollarization over a period of time.